Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. In this installment of the Quest series, we turn to how to succeed on the job. As with the previous installments, this one begins with a first-person report from a Jeremy, who is a composite of my client's experiences, and it embeds four of the principles, and after Jeremy's report, I'll call them out. It's me again, Jeremy. So I have to tell you that my excitement about my first professional job has waned. If you'll recall, I got a job as the assistant to the assistant PR manager at a small book publisher. But it turned out my job was mainly scut work, proofreading press releases and telemarketing to media people, most of whom were annoyed that I called. Typical response, just send me email, click. So after a month, I quit. Since then, I've done some things that have worked better, and I share them with you in hopes that they might help you. When I got interviewed for jobs, I didn't just sit there answering their questions. I treated it like a first date. We both had the right to ask questions. They had the right to ask more than me, but I asked a good few. Not only did that help me vet employers, it avoided my appearing desperate. The job search, I must admit, took longer than I had hoped, but I finally got a job I felt that could be a career launchpad. One for a well-established book marketing company as an assistant publicist. They assured me that while I would have to do some mundane work, everybody does, even though I'd just be an assistant, there would be opportunity to write press releases and participate in planning meetings, or at least draft press releases. So that job was a good launchpad, but to make my career take off, I had to do some other things. I prepared for meetings. And at most meetings, I suggested my one or two best ideas. It really was worth the time to take some extra time to do that. The beauty of that was that without my bragging, everybody got to see that I had some value beyond the mundane. After I got a couple of attaboys, I politely asked my boss that even though I was just an assistant, whether I could take charge of one book. And my boss said, well, maybe, kind of vague noises. But I had planted a seed. So when one of the publicists went on maternity leave, he said I could take on one of her books. Nevertheless, I felt interchangeable, like just any other PR newbie. I needed to feel special, needed, marketable. Well, to develop my brand, I tried to develop kind of a unique brand, a special brand, a niche. I tried to use my youth. I checked out a number of articles and books using a Google search. And these were searching for books, articles, or videos on marketing books to Gen Z. I learned some surprising things. For example, I wouldn't have thought to make an unboxing video or a cover reveal video and post them on TikTok and Instagram. I didn't even know what they were. An unboxing video is simply the author opening the box of books, and probably smiling. And a cover reveal video is simply having brown paper or whatever on a cover of a book and then opening it to reveal the cover, and then posting them on TikTok and Instagram. So anyway, apparently successful authors do that, or at least some do. So I branded myself as a budding specialist in marketing Gen Z books on social media. I got active on forums, I followed people on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, including some successful Gen Z authors. I attended virtual and even a couple of in-person conferences where I occasionally got to chat with a speaker after she finished a talk. And then I gave a short presentation at a Zoom meeting, which I called 4 Ways to Use TikTok to Market Your Book. Then I wrote an article using that content, a short thing, sent it to appropriate bloggers, and one of them posted it. I even made one podcast, Jeremy Tixon Talks About Your Book. Jeremy Tixon Talks About Your Book. All that gave me the confidence to submit a proposal to the National Book Expo, and it was accepted, although in the worst time slot, the very last session of the conference. But afterwards, 3 authors came up and asked to hire me to market their book. That tempted me to think about starting my own firm, which I'd call something like Ticking and Talking Book Marketing. But that felt premature when I reflected on it. But instead, I brought the names of those people to my boss, who was impressed and made noises about my soon becoming promoted to full publicist. Now, I'm not sure where I'm going to land, but I feel I have launched my career. Okay, so Jeremy's report that I just gave you embeds these 4 keys to launching a career. Number 1, Beware paying dues. When starting out, it's natural to feel insecure, and so you feel you should pay a fair amount of scut work dues. But both in job interviews and in the first days on the job, ask for career launching rather than dead-end work. If you don't ask, you risk being branded as low level. If your query yields a discouraging response, it may be time to look for another job. A second takeaway from Jeremy's report is that meetings are easy visibility. Review an upcoming meeting's agenda and see if you can come up with an idea or two that are likely to be helpful and impressive. Of course, especially as a person just starting out, you're probably going to want to limit your suggestions and propose them respectfully, something like, "I'm wondering if X might be a good idea. What do you think?" A third takeaway from Jeremy's reporting is develop your brand at the intersection of your strengths and the market. Jeremy combined his youth, his knowledge of Gen Z social media, his interest and growing experience in book PR to identify a niche, social media marketing for books aimed at Gen Z. He used the miracle of Google search to identify articles and videos. That's an efficient way to learn. He then applied his learning right away by giving talks, first in low-risk situations, so that he gained confidence and competence. And the fourth and final takeaway, if you will, from Jeremy's reporting is, with clear eyes, weigh the pros and cons of self-employment. When a few potential clients say they'd like to hire you, it's tempting to set up your own shop. After all, you're in control and you keep all the revenue, but there are liabilities. You are in charge or have to pay for everything from marketing to IT to accounting. I guess if you're in marketing PR, you're not going to be paying for marketing, but you're certainly in charge of it all. You also need to be a self-starter. Procrastinators need not apply. Those who need a lot of external structure need not apply. It's usually wise to defer the decision as to whether to be self-employed until you've done a fair amount of learning on the employers, on one or more employers' dimes. So, does this little talk contain any ideas that promise to help you launch your career? In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.